Hi, my name's Jai and today I'll be talking about the use of mobile technology in helping pathology and medical science students. Here is a list of learning objectives to this digital guide. Studying pathology is often a tedious process. I find myself having to recall and absorb masses of information as well as having to actively critique the information being presented at the same time, due to the fact that medical science is constantly progressive study. With the rise of mobile technology in the first world and its increase in accessibility due to its affordability, many different mobile applications in association with different types of educational approaches can be incorporated into one's daily learning with regards to medicine. The most traditional form of learning in this particular field is information transmission, which is the simple transmission of static knowledge from the teacher to the students. This is particularly effective in studying pathology as many students must rote memorize the name and function of the body system, as well as the clinical manifestations of disease. The application which I found to be particularly helpful in this case is MediDrills by ArchiMD Inc. This application incorporates the use of 3D animations in order to transmit the knowledge, as well as the use of questions such as multi-choice and drag and drops in order to help the user to test one's understanding of various body systems and disease associated. Furthermore, the application incorporates sophisticated medical simulation interactives in order to give the student some insight into the treatment of a disease systematically, whilst allowing as many repeats as they need for the full acquisition of information. Although effective in transmitting prior knowledge, the downside to this particular form of learning is that the application assumes that the knowledge is fixed. However, the medical world in the 21st century is constantly changing, and we are becoming more aware of the fact that there's still many ambiguity existing in pathology which needs to be discussed. Discoveries within the human body are constantly being made, and scientific hypotheses are being proven and disproven on a daily basis. With the amount of information explosion in today's medical field, just by using apps which focuses on transmitting known information such as MediDrills is insufficient to achieve a well-rounded perspective on medical knowledge. The global trend of learning is shifting towards the right side of the spectrum. Students are expected to be the creators as well as the critics of knowledge, whereas the teacher is expected to be the facilitator of a discussion. An example where this may be commonly seen is through the use of polls and discussion boards during lectures as well as online. Lectures are traditionally expected to be a form of information transmission learning, where the teacher simply assumes a student is an empty vessel waiting to be filled with information. However, it's becoming more and more prevalent that lecturers will begin a lecture with a controversial question on a polling platform such as SurveyMouse. Then students are able to use their mobile devices to access the poll through the URL, and responses will be tallied in real time. In the case of pathology, it is more often than not that there are many body processes as well as pathological genesis of diseases which are yet to be determined. Therefore, by incorporating the use of polls into questions where simple transmission of knowledge cannot answer is a good way to encourage students to use their prior knowledge and actively construct an answer to authentic problems collaboratively with those who share the same opinion and those who believe the opposite. In addition, the employment of online discussion boards has been extremely useful in promoting communicative learning. Med Students Online is an online discussion forum open to all Australian students with an interest in medical science or is currently studying pathology and medicine. This platform offers a different range of subtopics of discussion, going from questions relating to specific lecture content, such as the use of stethoscopes, to administrative questions such as how to enter a medical degree or effective methods of study. Both mobile platforms encourage a form of learning called social constructivism, which sits on the opposite end of the spectrum to traditional information transmission. This form of learning follows the global trend of knowledge being highly progressive, as well as taking account that students have prior experiences and knowledge which can be used as a basis for learning. It encourages students in pathology to construct knowledge in a partnership, in not just what they learn, but also how they learn, with the use of a discussion board. In the developed world, global trends show that there's an increase in affordability of mobile technology, with smartphone penetration level in Australia sitting at 77% as of 2016. It is not surprising to see that the use of smartphones being the main source of technology used in mobile learning. The smartphone is an effective tool in that it is sophisticated, enabling learners and the learning experience to be mobile, as well as utilising the real-world environment at the same time. The usage of augmented reality apps is an emerging educational trend in the developed world such as Australia. An app which is extremely technologically advanced in the field of pathology is called Anatomy 4D. The app transforms your phone into a pair of virtual reality goggles upon scanning one of their specifically designed target posters. It displays models 3D with a 4D component, being that the student is able to manipulate the model so that they can isolate certain sections, such as the blood flow to the heart, which is something you would not be able to do with a traditional model. Another more specific example for current UWA students studying pathology is the UWA Online Specimen Catalogue. The physical museum is located on the pathology campus and contains many preserved, dissected human specimens. When the student enters a museum, they're encouraged to scan QR codes corresponding to the specimen, which leads them to the interactive online catalogue that describes the diagnosis of the specimen in detail. This combination of situated learning with the use of AR technology doesn't only provide context and application, but also provides flexibility and personalisation when helping students in identification of the disease. The use of these augmented reality apps and QR codes falls under the educational approach called situated and embodied learning. The use of augmented reality application brings context to the content studied, whereas the use of QR codes in accessing digital catalogue takes a further step and makes learning process one which is more physical and perceptual. It is proven that the use of bodily actions when learning new content may result in deeper, longer lasting memory traces. In addition, the app allows extremely flexible and personalised learning in the sense that the student is able to choose the specific content that they're interested in. This particular educational model is considered to be the most up-to-date, as it builds on the student's prior knowledge and contextualises the information in a real-life scenario. The trend in educational approach is heavily driven by the global trend in affordability of mobile devices. Though the affordability of mobile devices is increasing overall, in developing countries such as Africa, the penetration of smart devices remained low, as only 30% of the entire African population is predicted to have a smartphone by 2017. This is due to the fact that smart devices remain relatively unaffordable to the majority of African population, with the average African spending 17% of their earnings on mobile devices. Thus, educational-wise, the most common form of mobile device used happens to be the feature phone, which is more affordable. However, users must compensate in the case of affordance in terms of how sophisticated the device may be. In summary, the current educational model is shifting from the simple information transmission to embodied learning in the developed world. This isn't any different in the case of pathology. However, the upcoming trend of incorporating mobile technology into our daily learning depends on the affordability of the device.